Royals are in the spotlight all the time, and that means that their mistakes are often caught on camera. From an unusual wedding outfit to inappropriate laughter, here are some of Camilla Parker Bowles' biggest snafus. Queen Camilla and Princess Diana weren't exactly bosom buddies, but in 1980, the two women actually tried to forge a friendship. Because Diana was relatively inexperienced in the world of courtship and royalty, she sought support from Camilla, whom she viewed as more seasoned in that arena. Camilla naturally did her best to advise the future princess. She even invited Diana to her country home for chit-chats and good old-fashioned fun. As a childcare professional herself, Diana reportedly cared for Camilla's son, Tom, and her daughter, Laura. Although Camilla and Diana started out on good terms, their relationship was ill-fated from the start. Diana was pursuing a relationship with the future King Charles III, even as Camilla was carrying on an affair with him. This love triangle, of course, would eventually become one of the most famous in recent history. Thus, when Diana and Camilla were photographed together at the 1980 Ludlow races, neither woman knew how awkward of a moment this truly was. On July 29, 1981, Princess Diana married the future King Charles III.
I will.
At the time, Charles had decided that he would end things with Camilla to focus on his new marriage. Of course, things didn't exactly work out that way in the long run. But at the time, it did seem that Charles and Camilla were going to take a break. Because of this tense dynamic, some historians wonder why exactly the future Queen Camilla wore a pale grey, almost white shade to Diana and Charles's wedding. As wedding expert Zoe Burke told The Express, wearing white to a wedding is probably the biggest sin you can commit as a wedding guest, especially if it's a floor-length white lace number. While the motivation behind Camilla's colour choice remains unclear, Burke noted, "If the love of your life, who you were not permitted to marry, invited you to their wedding to someone else, you may well be tempted to stage a quiet rebellion." In the eyes of some, Camilla's clothing was far too bridal to be appropriate for someone else's wedding. However, as other experts have observed, her very presence at the event was awkward. In the same Express piece, fashion specialist Molly Elizabeth Agnew added, "Diana would have felt uneasy about Camilla's attendance regardless of what colour she was wearing, although the fact she mentioned the colours specifically suggests she clearly noticed it." The British royal family may not wield political power, but its members still occupy an important role in UK diplomacy. Royals are expected to attend state banquets, international events, and important gatherings as a way of promoting their country's interests on the world stage. Because of this, it was extremely awkward when Charles and Camilla attended an Inuit throat singing performance in Canada in 2017. On this occasion, Charles and Camilla were expected to watch respectfully. Instead, they burst into giggles mid-performance. It's impossible to know why the two were laughing. Perhaps they were mocking the performers, or perhaps they were chatting about some other kind of private pleasantry. Either way, the couple's reaction was largely seen as inappropriate. After all, their main role is to represent the British government abroad, and respecting others is viewed as a huge part of that. Some royal fans even critiqued Charles and Camilla online, calling them disrespectful and encouraging them to do better next time.
To many, it felt like the sky had fallen on the monarchy when Prince Harry and Meghan Markle announced that they would be stepping back from their roles as senior royals. But that was just the beginning. Their departure led to a rather public and brutal feud between Harry and members of the royal family, particularly with Prince William and King Charles. Not too long after the news dropped about Harry and Meghan, Camilla attended the 40th anniversary of the Prospect Hospice Swindon. As she was leaving the event, a reporter casually asked her if she would miss Harry and Meghan. Here's where things got awkward.
Will you miss Harry and Meghan?
Of course.
Some took to Twitter to express their thoughts, with one noting that her body language told a completely different story. Maybe she wasn't feeling too nostalgic after all. Many of us knew Queen Elizabeth to be a small woman with colorful clothing and an incredible hat collection. But she clearly also knew how to stand her ground. And by doing so, she helped to create a very awkward scenario with Camilla in December of 2020. As The Express reported, Camilla joined the Queen, Charles, and other senior royals in one of their first public appearances since the coronavirus shutdown. To an outside observer, the event looked pretty normal, but body language expert Judy James explained that there was a lot of unspoken tension between the monarch and Camilla. According to James, Camilla stood in a very, quote, awkward stance, which was only heightened by the Queen's apparent confidence. James also noted that Queen Elizabeth spoke to the band that was playing, as well as her family members, with one exception. James suggested, the Queen then actively chats to the band, engaging Charles in the conversation, while Camilla stands back slightly with her rigidly placed arms, suggesting an air of tension or awkwardness. We may never know what was really going on behind the scenes. While on a trip to New Zealand, Charles and Camilla made a number of stops at landmark locations, all in order to soak up the gorgeous New Zealand culture. But things didn't exactly go to plan while they were interacting with a native reptile. According to Sky News, the royal couple had visited an eco-sanctuary in the South Island. There, they got up close and personal with a small lizard, and by all accounts, they seemed both enthralled and slightly repelled. But things immediately took a turn. As the couple's attention was focused elsewhere, a bumblebee dove towards Camilla, who swatted it away. So the bee went for Charles, who reportedly yelped. Royals might have crowns and jewels, but they're just as scared of bugs as the rest of us. You don't have to be a fan of the royals to know that they're not the most affectionate bunch. Take Charles and his late wife, Princess Diana. At their peak, people thought that they were the picture of love and happiness, but if you look back at photos, they seem to barely acknowledge each other's existence. While things seem to be far rosier between Camilla and Charles, PDA is still very rare, and that was the case even before they became king and queen. So when a fan from Korea hugged Camilla during a royal visit to Liverpool in 2019, the royal appeared to be shaken up. As noted by Hello magazine, Camilla was saying hello to the city crowd when her apparent biggest fan, Moonsun Kim, embraced the royal. She recalled, "I was so excited. I've never seen a member of the royal family before. I hope I wasn't wrong to give her a hug."
It's very good memory.
Camilla definitely looked pretty stiff during the interaction, but Kim revealed that the future queen said, "Nice to meet you," after the brief embrace. There's a lot to be said about living a highly public life. Camilla has been in the spotlight for decades, so the cameras have captured her at her happiest and at her most miserable. According to the Daily Star, the opening ceremony for the Commonwealth Games in 2018 featured what appeared to be a very down-in-the-dumps Camilla, thought to be, quote, miserable and uninterested.
I extend a very warm Australian welcome.
Body language expert Judy James told the outlet, Charles and Camilla appeared at times anxious and reluctant and lacking in any youthful bounce that could imply keenness. Unlike the current royals and the younger royals, they tend to have the effect of making you worried rather than happier. Many of us have probably gotten into a fight with an umbrella on a windy day. And as it turns out, even royals have to deal with frustrating moments like these. As noted by the Daily Mail, Camilla and Charles were visiting Malta, and as they stepped off their plane, the rather blustery conditions proved totally overwhelming for Camilla and her umbrella. As she attempted to join her husband outside, Camilla was met by a huge gust of wind that basically forced her into a 1v1 with her umbrella that she just could not get to stay open. Luckily for her, a flight attendant offered her a hand, and she successfully got off the plane and joined the crowd. Camilla's hair also got a bit tousled in the wind, but she walked it off like a pro. While it's not a caught-on-camera moment for Camilla, it is a caught-on-tape snafu, and it caused so much buzz it has to be mentioned. As the Mirror reported, Charles and Camilla were romantically involved long before they were single and available, and a secret recording of one of their phone conversations was ultimately leaked. Cue Camillagate. It was 1989, Charles and Diana were still married, and Camilla was still married to Andrew Parker Bowles. Even so, the heir to the throne and Camilla were chatting on the phone about, let's just say, a few very intimate subjects. The audio recording leaked in 1993 and was published in People with the headline, Charles and Camilla, the tape. And it's safe to say it was more than awkward for all of those involved. The royal family is all about looking the part, but that typically steely demeanor may have gone a bit far for Princess Anne. According to The Express, Anne and Camilla were pictured together at a formal event. Body language expert Darren Stanton took a look at the interaction and immediately pointed to the apparent awkward tension, explaining, Camilla's hands show a sign of slight anxiety and insecurity. Holding her bag, Camilla's hand position, although taken in a single still shot, appears to be less confident than Princess Anne. Of course, Stanton pointed out Anne's strong personality as having been a factor, but the history between the two women is also worth mentioning. An official royal biographer told Vanity Fair that Anne and Andrew Parker Bowles, Camilla's ex-husband, actually dated in the early 70s, possibly a factor that still contributed to the icy tension between the two ladies. Weddings are notoriously stressful events, and Charles and Camilla's was chock full of tension. First and foremost, Queen Elizabeth refused to attend the ceremony. While she had given her formal approval for the couple to tie the knot, she did not make an appearance at the actual wedding. While many speculated that her lack of attendance was a sign that she didn't approve of the marriage behind closed doors, it was reported that the Queen didn't attend because she serves as the head of the Church of England and didn't want to publicly promote divorce and remarriage. But regarding an official portrait from the wedding day, body language pro Blanca Cobb alleged to GEO News that Princes William and Harry were, quote, visibly uncomfortable during the wedding. William specifically was described as, quote, nervous, stiff, and plastered. As for the happy couple, it's hard to say exactly how they were impacted by all of the drama, but it couldn't have been the most blissful experience.
Take a look at how amazing nature is and what nature does for us.
It was Charles and Camilla versus a bald eagle, and the photos did not disappoint. As People reported it, the royal couple attended the Sandringham Flower Show in 2015 and came face-to-face with a 4-year-old eagle named Zephyr. As the pair was engaging with Zephyr's handler, the large bird flapped its wings and totally caught them off guard. The expressions on both Camilla and Charles' faces were priceless, and naturally the images went viral. Charles clearly knew that something was bound to happen, as he reportedly turned down the chance to hold the eagle himself. After the incident, the royal couple continued their stroll around the annual flower show, bought some goods from the local vendors, and went on their way. Regarding the eagle, a spokesman for the couple stated, "It was less dramatic than the pictures suggest. We'll be the judge of that." Camilla's entrance into the royal family wasn't a particularly graceful one. There was a lot of drama associated with her and Charles' long-lasting, not-so-secret affair, so it's no wonder that the royals were reluctant to welcome her with open arms. And as the Express reported, just 2 months after Camilla and Charles wed, Charles' younger sister, Princess Anne, seemingly tried to ice Camilla out of a conversation between her and the heir to the British throne. Body language expert Judy James told the outlet that Anne has looked as though she wanted to establish a barrier between herself and Camilla, and it's pretty obvious that she was successful. Of one particular moment, James said, "There seems to be a sense of exclusion here, as Anne stands closer to her brother to apparently push Camilla out of the small group here, even raising her arm so that her elbow forms a barrier gesture. Both Charles and Anne look grim-faced here rather than sociable." Yikes. Here's hoping the relationship between the two women has warmed over time. This weird moment just might be the icing on the Camilla cake. According to The Mirror, Camilla was spotted with Kate Middleton and Queen Letizia of Spain at an event in 2019. But what might have seemed like just a couple of international royals chatting it up was far from a harmless interaction. Later, Kate was accused of intentionally ignoring Camilla during her conversation with Letizia, as the then Duchess of Cornwall was pretty much just left in the background of a moment between the two royals. Camilla was caught on camera trying to engage in conversation and seemingly jump in when she got an opportunity. At one point, Camilla even said something to Kate directly. But Kate just carried on talking with Letizia like Camilla wasn't even there. Some people took to social media to react, with one user posting that the scenario was, quote, awful. Was it awkward? 100% yes. Did Kate intentionally ignore Camilla? It's hard to say. Either way, there was a clear third wheel. On a different note, the Express reported that Charles and Camilla were on a trip to Northern Ireland, paying their respects to the victims of the 1998 bombing. There, Camilla had an umbrella, hoping to protect herself from any rain. And here's where things got a little awkward. Charles tried to greet his wife with a kiss when she joined him at the event, but according to the outlet, Charles was forced to awkwardly duck under the umbrella to give Camilla a kiss. Even worse, Charles was pretty much separated from his wife for the entire day due to the umbrella situation. Consider this your friendly reminder that the royal family, for as fabulous as their lives appear to be, are still humans who make regular old slip-ups and go on bumbling through life like the rest of us.